Right, so I'm standing here just beyond where the finish line will be drawn for the Melbourne Geelong 2010 World Championships. The line is about 100 metres behind me here, but you can see down the road as you look down towards the water how steep this really is and what a drag it is. And this is going to be a very, very tough finish. Not a pure sprinter's finish, but for riders with power. You know, the good sprinters obviously, but then guys who you may not quite expect, but after a 260 odd kilometre race and a finish like this, it brings a lot of guys into contention and on a mass finish. So you see a final a finish straight like that, a little bit uphill. The guys that sort of come to mind in a sprint like that would be, of course, Cavendish, myself, Tyler Farrar, Tom Boonen, Thor Hushovd, Alan Davis, Heinrich Hausler. So this course is suited to fast guys, but I don't think it's as a pure sprinter course as people have led everyone to believe over the last months. But in a minute you get a really good look at it. So we're on the very first part of the circuit now, gone through the start-finish area, coming out past Skilled Stadium. Got a nice downhill run out of town and a nice wide flat road to set up the run towards the first climb. So as we come past Skilled Stadium, home of the Geelong Cats, this is what you call probably a recovery part of the course. Big, flat, wide road, good opportunity to save the legs on the run into the first difficult part of the course, but all the while trying to stay quite near the front, just tucked in the wheels and out of sight, and then ready to move up as the race hits the narrow roads and the road steepens. So we're here, we've raced out of town, crossed over the Barwon River, and got one more little section where you can sort of save the legs a little bit. We're about to take a hard right and head towards the climb. In the final part of the race, when things are still together, this is where the teams will be trying to place their sprinters towards the front of the bunch, so they've got room to drift a little on the climb. Yeah, obviously for myself and for the other sprinters, be hoping for the group to be together, no serious breakaway, or also no riders just off the front that can provide a springboard for an attack, from the likes of a Philippe Gilbert or a Alejandro Valverde. So, this is the part of the race where the workers who are left over, the domestiques, they'll be really scraping the bottom of the barrel, doing the last of their work to place their sprinter and try and control the bunch. I think it's very important to know the course, and it is a home ground advantage for us, but I know there's plenty of guys coming out to see it. So we've taken the right-hander, the double right-hander, to turn into Barwon Boulevard, and this is where the road starts to go up. Technically, the start of the climb, little more than a false flat with a couple of hilly pieces in it, but when the pace is on here towards the end of the race, this is the stuff that really starts to burn. So coming up here, a nice road, but again a little bit narrower than earlier. This is the very last chance on this section to get your position for the climb. I'm just about to come onto the first steep section. From the bottom of this steep hill, it's a kilometre to the top, goes up in about 3 steep ramps, and this is the first little one. And you see every section just starts to ramp up a bit, and at the end of all of them really gets steep. Small chainring, 19, 12% up here, 13%. And then we turn into Chilambra Crescent. This is where the real action will start. The second kick up of the climb. This section again, very steep. Already hitting 10, 11, 12%, 13%. It may only be short, but this is a serious hill. So after we've punched over those first two steep sections, soon everybody's legs are going to start getting a little bit tired, like mine. Can you hear the puffing? So this is, yeah, feels a bit different to say the hills in the Spring Classics in Europe. Obviously no cobbles, but this hill really goes up in sections. So it's like a big step up climb. But you know, this is as hard as anything you'd encounter in a classic, especially when you're riding circuits and you've got to do this 10 or 11 times. It's also a case of measuring your effort throughout the race and using your teammates at the right time as far as a sprinter's concerned, and for the others, waiting to make their one big effort. Now we're on the final part of the main climb. Nice smooth asphalt, wide enough. Getting up, already 12% on this part. And when you look ahead, see the road just gets steeper and steeper the further you go up it. If I was going to compare this climb to anything, it'd probably be a bit like some of the climbs in Amstel Gold Race. Very, very steep, but not that long. So here comes a real sting in the tail. You look up and all you see is the sky. See how steep it goes up. Getting the readings on the Polar computer, 22%. So once you're getting those sort of numbers, that's a serious hill in anyone's books. So we've reached the top of the first climb. So now it's time to do my favourite thing, go down. We got a very fast descent coming down here. It's a couple of K long, but yeah, I think we'll be hitting speeds around 90, possibly even up to 100 down here on race day, depending on the wind. So again, this is a vital section for recovery. You know, that first climb, that is really going to hurt, and particularly in the last couple of laps of the race where things are starting to split. You'll be giving absolutely everything over that first climb, and just knowing that there's this really steep pinch over here waiting for you. So you come down that screaming descent and across what will be a new bridge over the river, and then you hit this. You think you might carry some momentum onto it, but momentum is all gone after 150 metres. Again, a very steep climb, not long, but when I look at this, think about the final kilometres of the race, there's one name that springs to mind, and that's Philippe Gilbert. You know, this is a climb for the small chainring in anyone's books, but knowing Phil, he'll pull it up into the big dog and have a serious hit out. So for the sprinters, it's one of those real leg snappers. You've come off the first one suffering, roll down the big descent, and as soon as you hit this, the lactic acid just floods your muscles. But like I said, it's not long, so if you're anywhere between the front and mid pack, you've got a little bit of room to work with to drop back through and come over the top of the group. This is a section of the course in the final part of the race where like I said, guys like Gilbert, Valverde, Filippo Pozzato maybe, and from an Australian side, Simon Gerrans, maybe even Cadell, but it's a climb for having a real punch. So we've cleared the top of the last climb, coming down to Frazier Street, and if you look at the scenario of riders attacking over that last climb, to their disadvantage is this long, straight, wide street here where you can always keep them in sight, and there's plenty of room to get teammates up to the front and do their work and pull any breakaways back. So it's not as if they can slip away on a technical road with lots of corners and hold that advantage. Just wide open. So there are opportunities for guys to escape over the hills, but they'll have their work cut out to stay away on streets like this. The bunch will really get some speed going along here, and as we turn left onto the next long open, slightly downhill section. So along here after the climbs, expect to see the bunch really snaking along this road, you know, doing 55, 60, almost 70 kilometres an hour. Now the elastic will be stretching and threatening to break. Everyone's scrambling to get back in the bunch. So like I said, we take the left turn onto Packington. Again, a very wide, beautiful asphalt road. Pretty easy to get organised behind a group. It'll all depend on who's in it and what sort of firepower they got. We're coming down here into this busy shopping precinct. I'd imagine we'll probably be doing 80k an hour down here in the bunch. Paco is going to be my favourite part of the circuit because you've just done the two hills, getting back into the group along the next straight flat piece, and here's where you're going to be able to maybe just relax a little bit for maybe a minute and a half, 2 minutes before you've got to start thinking about the next one. So this will be where you can eat, drink, have a little sleep, recover for the next time around. The more I ride this course, the longer the list of favourites gets. I'm also thinking guys like Kim Kirchen, Fabian Cancellara, Jens Voigt, maybe even Lance. It's about time you rode another Worlds. Yeah, I reckon Lance should come and ride the Worlds in Geelong. Mate, you're not getting any younger like me, so come and do another Worlds.